All right. So good evening, everyone. Thank you all for joining us tonight as we host our very first District F annual meeting. I am Tiffany D. Thomas. Your presence means even more to me tonight in this moment, especially as many of us are overscheduled and in higher demand virtually than we were in person in the past. So even in a pandemic, I think it's important for us to create space, at least for me as your city council member, to present to you our collective body of work from this past year. These efforts were not completed or initiated alone. I earned your support, received your feedback, and even your grievances with as much respect and humility as I could. What we will present tonight is about us and our work together. I would be remiss if I did not publicly acknowledge my council staff. Oftentimes, council members receive all of the praise and especially the blame at times, but if I did not have the quality of staff members alongside of me, helping me activate our vision, none of this will be possible. They are my collaborators, my teammates, and at times my confidants, and together we are District F strong. Sherelle Duncan, Nashawn Edwards Sr., Long Nguyen, and Edie Navarro, thank you very much for everything that you do for me and the constituents in District F. You all will hear more from them later tonight. I would also like to acknowledge they have confirmed that they will attend and they'll probably visit throughout the time that we share together. Councilmember Sally Alcorn, Councilmember David Robinson, who serves as my vice chair on the Housing Committee, and Councilmember Letitia Plummer, who are your at-large council members who serve you as well. Our presentation and report tonight will be available via our council website and our newsletter, which will hit your inbox tomorrow, Friday, on December 4th. Please take the time to read through it and share with your neighbors who are not here to join us tonight. Up next, we'll share a brief video highlighting our work before we get into our presentation. So please grab a drink, a snack, and join us for the ride. Long, take it away.
Councilmember Tiffany D. Thomas.
Congratulations, Mayor. I look forward to working with you and everyone around the Horseshoe. I am excited to represent the residents of District F. On April 5th, I declared that we would do a new thing, and we did that in December.
Yesterday, we had the case that was confirmed in Montgomery County that was not tied to international travel. That was evidence of some community spread. And as a result, that takes us to what do we do next? By the end of today, I will be signing an emergency health declaration for the city of Houston.
So historically, for the last 40 years, it's been their practice not to train with chokeholds. It's been their practice, but it has not been on their books as policy. So what that executive order does immediately is now creates policy where disciplinary actions and accountability measures can be tied to that.
Working with the Houston Health Department, we will have a mobile testing site.
Let me also call on now Councilmember Tiffany Thomas, and is very instrumental in these programs.
We wanted to make sure that we combat this virus by keeping people in place. And we can't keep people in place when they are on the verge of being evicted out of their homes.
To celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month, we have been speaking with residents in the Hispanic community and wish to amplify their voices. The following residents have agreed to share with us their experiences as Hispanic Americans.
I'm Karen Eubanks Jackson. I'm the founder and CEO of Sisters Network. We are the only national breast cancer organization in the country for African American women. Run to the doctor. Early detection and being a self-advocate and learning about your body, reading, asking questions. We all have to do that.
This site will be the home to a new $54 million mixed-use center that will accommodate 3 City of Houston facilities under one roof.
So today would not be possible if it was not for the vision of several residents close to 25 years ago. I want to personally thank you for your tenacity and your patience for 25 years, because we all know that delay does not mean denial. I also would like to acknowledge previous city council members that accepted the will of the people to advance this capital improvement project. Today is not just about the residents of Alief and their vision coming finally to fruition, but this is about us imagining what our city could look like when we invest funding, when we design buildings with resiliency, with community input in mind, and we leverage our city buildings as assets for all. Lastly, I would like to thank Mayor Sylvester Turner for keeping his promise to Alief residents. I hope that this example is a demonstration of what we can do for the entire city. I believe that when we get it right in Alief, we can get it right anywhere. I look forward to celebrating with you again when we have our final ribbon cutting very soon. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yay! And that video as well will be available via our newsletter. It's 5 minutes long, and our website, so you'll be able to enjoy. Go ahead.
Thank you, Councilmember. Hello, everybody. Good evening. My name is Edie. This has been an exciting year for us, to say the least. 2020 has really hit us with some hectic times. But I just want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. And honestly, all this work, like Councilmember had mentioned, couldn't be done without our team. There are 4 of us, and we are a quality team composed of our Chief of Staff, Sherelle Duncan. Sherelle has been a resident in Houston, Texas since 2013. She wears many hats in our office. She handles high-level constituent services, participates in management districts and maintaining the office logistics, as well as aiding in community initiatives organized by our office. And to add to that, she's also our Housing and Community Affairs Committee clerk. Next, we have myself, who I am the scheduler and the special projects coordinator. I was born and raised in Houston, Texas. I graduated from the University of Houston. My main focus with the District F office is to schedule the council member, manage volunteers, and organize logistics for special projects in the district. Next, we have our Director of Constituent Services and Communications, Long Nguyen, who you just saw some of his amazing work with that video. Long has been a resident in Houston since 2012. He focuses on constituent concerns in Alief, Eldridge, and West Oaks. He also captures, like we saw, the council member through video and producing all the amazing newsletters that you see each week. That is him. And we have our other Director of Constituent Services and Housing researcher, Nashawn Edwards Sr. He has been a resident in Houston since 2016. He is focusing on the housing and community affairs as co-clerk, and Nashawn Sr. also focuses on constituent concerns in Briar Meadow, Tanglewild, Piney Point, and the surrounding areas. So when we started this year, we had 3 major goals in mind that we came together and we said, these are the things we really want to focus this year. And even though we had a pandemic, we still focus on our 3 major goals while dealing with a worldwide pandemic. The first goal was to work to establish an effective community engagement and education. As an office, we agreed that helping our community is our main goal. This means that the community, as an office, we need to empower the community by helping educate District F on various ways to be involved and report concerns. We empower each resident to use their resources no matter which elected official is in office. Our second goal was building relationships with constituents to establish trust. Our relationship with the community is important and a vital part of the work that we do. Our constituents provide us with real problems affecting the district. By creating a strong relationship with constituents, we're able to effectively create solutions by collaborating and involving all constituents in every step of the way. And finally, our third goal, the CDSF fund and completion of projects. A major component of the district office is getting projects done by utilizing our council district service funds, or CDSF. It is our goal to complete projects that have been waiting in the waiting list for years, as you saw with the Alief Community Center, projects that improve the lives of District F residents. So by listening to the people's needs, we can effectively provide projects that will lead to a positive, lasting impact for everybody. And our purpose, to round all this up, is to change the story of District F through education and service. I don't know about y'all, but I'm a very visual person. So here we wanted to highlight the year by using numbers. So our office, including the council member, have attended 90 community meetings this year. This includes Super Neighborhood 17, 25, and 20. We also had our National Night Out this year, virtually, which was a great hit, and we got to meet everybody and come together as a community. We also had our CIP community meetings where members were able to input their comments and questions. We also attended HOA and Civic Club meetings, and the council member met with various Girl Scout and Boy Scout troops. We had a total of 14 community initiatives: our 2020 Census Town Hall, mass distribution at Crump Stadium, our senior home mass delivery, our community cleanup day, our inaugural youth-led conference, our COVID-19 testing at Crump Stadium, and our HPD pizza party with the youth. Now this number is impressive. 19,129 constituent requests received this year. And we just wanted to highlight the top 7 because there are various constituent requests that we have received. Our top 7 are noise concerns, illegal dumping, missed trash, bad news business, junk vehicles, park maintenance, and speed cushions. Just some to name some of the many other constituent requests we've received. Council member has attended 48 council meetings this year, and some of the notable meetings, these things were passed. We have the CARES Act funding that was passed in the beginning. We had rent relief of a total of $40 million. We also passed a small business fund that was $30 million, restaurant relief at $2.2 million. We closed the digital divide at $14 million, and HPD Westside and Midwest received $4 million. We also had the honor of recognizing 7 proclamations this year. The 7 proclamations that we recognized were from Piney Point Civic Club, BPSOS Houston, Heads Up Houston, the Westside Assistance Ministry, Toby Ningui, I apologize if I mispronounced that, Iglesia Ríos de Aceite, and Mi Familia Vota. These were all important to our community in District F, and we wanted to highlight this for y'all to be able to see just what we have completed in 2020. Even with the pandemic, these are the numbers for this year.
So in addition to all of what she just mentioned, we have been very, very busy, but we wanted to highlight 4 of our community initiatives that we partnered with community members to achieve. So the first one is our District F Youth-Led Conference. So this year, we were so happy to host our inaugural Youth-Led Conference. It was held recently, and we had over 100 students register and attend, and we had our youth leaders from Elsick High School, Hastings High School, and the University of Houston come together as our steering committee, and they planned it. At this conference, we had over 26 presenters from academia, grassroots organizations, youth who lead civic engagement groups, as well as various nonprofits that you all may be aware of. All that you can view our youth-led conference. It'll be on our website. We also were able to use our CDSF funds and invest over $58,000 from fiscal year 20 for our hotspot team. This is crucial as our community members noted that we had lots of illegal dumping throughout the district. And to date, I'm very happy to say that.
Hold on, Sherelle, we don't see the slide yet. Is there a delay? We can't. There we go. Hotspot. Go.
Perfect. Over the 6-month time or 5 months that they have been active, they have worked a total of 60 days, had 82 work orders that they completed, traveled over 5,000 miles, picked up over 150 mattresses, 182 tires, over 1,200 bandit signs, over 3,000 pounds of garbage, and 2,480 pounds of tree waste. So our hot team, although it is a team of 4, they are small but mighty, and they are working tirelessly to make sure that our community is clean and it is beautified throughout the district. We've even been able to help create a system where we partner with solid waste so we have better communications throughout the district when it comes to our hotspot team. So we also conducted a neighborhood cleanup. So after hearing about easements that needed to be cleaned, mowed, we decided to turn it into a community initiative safely. This was during COVID, and so we partnered with the Houston Tool Bank as well as Keep Houston Beautiful, and we were able to clean and mow almost 100,000 square feet of an easement in Spring Grove Drive. We had incredible partnerships that came out and helped us, including Vice Mayor Pro Tem Martha Castex Tatum, the E.L. Kingsley Foundation, and the Theta Chi chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, as well as Precision Works Lawn Services. There we had over 56 volunteers, and we saved our taxpayers $4,000. So we're very proud to be able to do that for the community. And it's something that our hotspot team is able to maintain as part of their duties. And then finally, we have our civic and get out the vote outreach that we participated in. So we all know that 2020 has been a census year, and so it has been one of our main priorities. It was our first event that we actually had, our Census 2020 Town Hall. There, we partnered with the Houston Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, as well as Mi Familia Vota, the U.S. Census Bureau Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, and the Houston Area Urban League. And we had almost 100 people who attended just to learn about the importance of the census and to really talk about myths and truths when it came to taking the census. As we know, as residents of District F, is not just a monolith. We have so many different cultures who had questions, and so we were able to answer those there. We also partnered with all of those people that I just mentioned, as well as OCA Greater Houston, and we developed a partnership where we targeted what our efforts would be in District F. And from there, we were able to host a census day. And really throughout the entire time, we had a literature drop to over 30,000 apartment units in our district. And most importantly, our collective work helped to increase District F's response rate to 59%, despite the hurdles that we had from COVID. Finally, our voter engagement. So OCA of Greater Houston went above and beyond, and they supported not only our district, but also District J. And between June and November, their team canvassed and dropped off literature to over 160,000 residents, including those in Alief, Agetown, Sharpstown, and Gulfton. And on their final round of the literature drop, they also provided CDC eviction moratoriums to 80,000 renters throughout both districts. So we're very proud of those 4 community initiatives that we had. And now we will hear from our next presenter.
Alrighty, thank you, Sherelle. Like everyone before me has stated, this has been a busy year for us, to say the least, especially communications and outreach wise. Councilmember Thomas has been incredibly vocal about advocating for an accurate census count, PPE distributions, rental relief, police reform, and bringing free mobile COVID-19 testing to District F, among so many other things. She has been featured or mentioned on pretty much every major local news and media outlet, such as the Chronicle, Houston Public Media, the website and the radio station, and all of the local channels. And she has also been on Radio Saigon 900 AM. That's the local Vietnamese radio station. And also the New York Times even reached out for an article about the housing crisis. And this has all been in the name of advocating for resources from the city and then educating our residents about the availability of these resources in the midst of a pandemic. And our office has also utilized a newsletter to distribute information to our residents. We began the year with a bi-weekly format, and we sought to inform all 3 of our super neighborhoods, 17, 20, and 25, about improvement projects and repair and developments. And then after the coronavirus landed in Houston, we transitioned to an ad hoc format where we would send out the most up-to-date information as it occurred, and sometimes up to 3 newsletters a week. And so that's why you see the total number as 66 newsletters published this year. And the up-to-date information would include analytical information about COVID-19 cases, local and statewide stay-home orders and restrictions, mask distributions, food distributions, and rental relief resources. And then as we progressed through the summer, we felt the community was generally more informed about current developments. We then transitioned to a more regular weekly format, and we rebranded the newsletter as the Thomas Telegraph. In this current version, we still provide updates on coronavirus developments, neighborhood improvement projects, CIP projects, such as the Alief Neighborhood Center. And we also added in fun sections like Movie Pick of the Week, the Reading Rainbow, and a section called Did You Know?, which is where we basically educate and empower residents to utilize available resources from the city. And we also have from time to time a section called the People's Chant, where we highlight local community heroes who really made an impact, a positive impact on our district. So if you know of a resident, a neighbor, a friend of District F who deserves some love in our newsletter, please let us know. If you have not already signed up for the newsletter, you can sign up on our website to houstontx.gov/council/F. And one last thing, I also wanted to thank all of the residents who assisted us with, getting our newsletters out, sharing them on forums and sending mass emails. You guys really helped us to communicate everything that's available to the residents. So I really want to thank you guys. Thank you.
Good evening, wonderful constituents of District F. My name is Nashon Ewasini, and I'll be recapping constituent services within the district. For the year 2020, constituents made 19,129 total requests to 301. It is important to note, in comparison to 2019, District F constituents have reported 1,324 less cases this year. I must say that isn't too bad, granted that we are in a pandemic. For those of you who may or may not know, 311 is a 24/7 service helpline used by the City of Houston to address constituents' needs and concerns, which can range from missed trash pickup to nuances in the community. As you can see on the pie chart presented, the primary concerns reported from District F constituents are collections and recycling, traffic and parking operations, construction and planning, community improvements and services, and general support services. To the right, you can see an in-depth breakdown of these categories reported and the number of constituents who reported that issue. On this side, you can see that not only does 311 capture the total number of concerns and issues, but also the methods by which constituents are able to report their concerns. As you can see on the bar graph, the most common method used by District F constituents to report issues are voice in, WAP, also known as Web Application Protocol / mobile interface, so on your phone, web, and lastly, email. To the left of this slide, you can also see a breakdown of the methods constituents use in order to report 311 requests. This concludes the constituent services portion of the presentation, but I would like to thank the District F constituents that continue to report these issues in the community and greater neighborhoods. It is truly taking a village to elevate District F forward. I will now yield the floor to Councilwoman Tiffany D. Thomas, who will be discussing funding the COVID-19 pandemic, CIP projects within the district, community supporters, and community comments.
Thank you, Nashon. I also would like to add as a small footnote, I believe because our office has been proactive in nature, that we have anticipated some of the immediate needs. That speaks to the 1,200 or so less calls for 311. So our hope is, as we drive the 311 service and the use of that technology, that will then inform the mayor's administration for years to come about capital improvement projects and Houston public work investments. And we'll be able to talk more about that on the next slide. So answering the pandemic call, no one could have prepared me for what my first term would be. And even if they did, I could tell you I would not have believed them. COVID-19 swept our city early March like a storm. And as we canceled the Houston Rodeo in response to community spread concerns. Immediately, there was a demand on our office to provide consistent and accurate information because there was so much anxiety and confusion about what was true. As we began as a city and an office to understand the CDC's recommendations, we immediately went into full swing to provide PPE to our community early spring of 2020. So the slide outlines just some snapshots of some of the work that we've done. What I had envisioned for our office the first year was disrupted month 3. So we immediately went into a social services, public health response team. And I will tell you that the numbers on the slide at the bottom in the sum numbers, that's not including our partnerships with other community-based organizations that we partner with every month and bi-weekly to provide food and other resources. The numbers on this slide is solely from our office. So there has been a high demand as many of our pockets of our neighborhoods have gone neglected in terms of having city resources and other resources extended to them. Also underscoring some of the gap is the fact that we don't have a strong social service or a nonprofit network. So the agencies that we have within our district, we've been able to collaborate with them and really strengthen our ties in order to respond. So I'm really proud of the fact that Mayor Turner realized very quickly that District F is one of the furthest far west districts. And the 2 testing sites we had at the time and we continue to have were at Delmar and Butler. So since July, we've had a partnership with the Alief ISD district, and to this day, our testing site remains there. And just as a note, in terms of as of November 30th, the 5,500 number, as of October 22nd, that number was 3,927. So the delta is 1,632. So closer to the holidays, we made a really strong push to make sure that individuals and families took advantage of this no-cost testing that's been extended through 10/31. I recently read somewhere that the word pandemic was the most used word in 2020. And so my hope is that we can put that word along with social distancing, wash your hands, mask up to bed, if we continue to do what Houstonians can do, and which we've demonstrated time after time as our percentage has decreased from 5%. Now it's increasing back to 8.6%, I believe, today. Next slide. So regarding the rent relief and just some consequences of what's been going on with COVID-19, the pandemic really amplified the already existing job and housing insecurity that we had within our city. It really just magnified the gaps that many of our families and individuals are dealing with on a daily basis. So many of us on the call tonight, we're extremely blessed to be in a position that these are not our challenges in 2020, but through our rent relief with Baker Ripley and the CDC moratorium, we were able to immediately in round 1 respond to 307 rental properties that were served. Now, context of the round 1 rent program, that was first come, first served. So early spring, we issued a $15 million rent relief program. Within 80 minutes, $15 million was already fully subscribed. The need was incredible at that time. Later, we issued a round 2 of that program that is still open. It's not first come, first served. And we don't yet have all of the numbers from that because we're still serving people. But I will tell you that our office has been a tool, a conduit to make sure that residents and landlords were receiving their payment, they had the accurate information and the accurate timelines. And as chair of the Housing and Community Affairs Committee, something definitely near and dear to my heart to make sure that people can have safe and secure housing, especially during a pandemic. Also, a special note and importance, I have to mention the faith community in District F. With our rent relief, with utility support, food distribution, we have been able to join hands with our mosque, our temples, our parishes, our churches. They work with us immediately to respond to these needs, to provide resources to our family, and more importantly, communicate accurate information on behalf of the city to their congregations. And for that, I am extremely proud. In our full report, I note in the introductory letter, how our diversity is what makes us so special in District F. And so it is not lost on me that we have such a colorful faith community that it was important for all of us to be on the same page, and we activated in accord. And I'm very proud of the work that we were able to do, from food to gift cards to making sure that they had the information that they needed. Next slide. And I will also add with the testing for the testing site, zip code 77072, 036, and 99 continue to remain some of our high positive COVID zip codes. And so we are working to make sure that those residents within those areas particularly are taking advantage of our free testing. So let's talk money. This is always important. And one of the promises I made while on the campaign, and I was clear in some of my individual conversations with you, is that, you know, as a taxpayer, it's important for us to see where our public dollars go. And in an effort to create continued transparency and trust within the community, it was only right for us to present how we're spending our council district service funds. For those who are not familiar with council district service funds, or what we refer to as CDSF, those are the dollars that are allotted from the general fund and from Metro. It totals $750,000 every fiscal year, which runs from the city June 30th to July 1. We are allotted those funds to initiate certain small scale, large scale, medium scale projects within the district to directly benefit the Youth for All. And so on the slide, you can see a couple of highlights. One of the drivers is of our Houston Public Works projects, and that's just from CDSF funds. The projects and the funding that you see today does not include the capital improvement projects from the administration or projects that were approved and funding were attached a couple of years ago, depending on those cycles. And it does not improve projects initiated from the administration on behalf of District F. So immediately within the first 6 months of coming into office, we initiated closer to $250,000 of projects that have been waiting in the queue. And I will tell you, Houston Public Works has been a tremendous partner in making sure that our sidewalks, our streets, our drainage, and other projects are enhanced with these funds. I believe that we will all see the benefit of this investment very soon. One of the priority areas in the campaign and something that I transferred into the office is really neighborhood revitalization. And I believe revitalization is inclusive of our green space and our quality of life and our park space. Really proud of the 5 projects with the Spark Park. I know we have a couple of our Alief ISD trustees on the call tonight. And so partnering with the school districts and those local campuses to create a park where there's community art, all types of wonderful equipment where the community and the students can use. We've invested money with that as well. We have taken money out of our council district service funds to respond to those overgrown easements. And so now, as we allocate our funding and look at, we're having harder conversations with the administration about making sure that companies such as Centerpoint and those other and other organizations that have the easement rights, that they do what they need to do to make sure that they are maintained. And so we are hopeful that those easements can be turned into something beautiful for the community, walking trail, garden, whatever. District F deserves it. And so we welcome the feedback and your input on those projects. And definitely not lastly, we've invested out of our CDSF fund some capital equipment for either fire stations in District F, which is 83, 10, and 76. They all received K-12 saws, and I roughly were around $1,200. That was an easy buy. We were able to facilitate that for those stations. And shout out to Super Neighborhood 17. In partnership with 17, they were able to respond to some of I believe it was Station 83's needs around office furniture and some kitchen equipment. So the residents in that super neighborhood really responded to them. So I want to thank them for that. And we also extended some dollars to our DRT team and to continue to help us with code enforcement violations with bad news businesses that do not keep their properties to code and additional resident concerns. And that partnership has shown itself very productive. We have some fiscal 21 projects that were received in 20 that we did not have the funding to start. We released that funding in those projects in 21, which started in July 1. We've had a series of speed cushions, manhole repairs, sidewalk projects, and additional support for Case for Kids for nonprofits. The Case for Kids nonprofit investment is really important, especially as I mentioned earlier, we don't have a strong network. And I would like to believe, because this administration's in office and we're here in District F, there have been nonprofits that have specifically applied to this funding to serve District F, to bring our kids an enhanced after school experience through the cultural arts, through technology, health and wellness, and more. And so I'm really grateful about that. And hopefully when we can get face-to-face, we'll love to do some site visits with those partners. And so we funded close to $25,000 with various matching various nonprofits in their work in District F. Next slide. Capital improvement plan. We highlighted this earlier in the video, but this is going to definitely be a jewel within the city. And as I mentioned earlier, it took 25 years, but the spirit behind this building is definitely full of innovation. They will have a library on the second floor, amphitheater, a walking trail, a garden, the health department, the mayor's cultural arts center. They've all invested in this area. And so because of their special revenue fund, each of them invested close to $14.7 million each for this building. We are on track. And so this is phase one. Phase two is that there is a covered pool that the community wants. And so we are working and we'll be in conversations with county commissioners and our federal congressional delegation for some community development block grant dollars for some matching funds. So if any of you are on the call that have any pathway to that to support this community center, we'll love to have that follow-up conversation with you. But this is going to be a jewel in the city that all of us will be able to benefit from. So I'm excited that we are on track early 2020. Next slide. So finally, a thank you to our partners. As I shared earlier, there's no way this could be done with one person. We have created relationships, deepened relationships, and they have trusted us to get this work out in the middle of a pandemic. And so much of our work has been front-facing, responding to COVID-19, but there have been some core city services that we have been taking care of every day. And so I just want to thank you for, again, taking the time to join us so we can present to you some of the work that we have joined together to do, because as you know, there's no I in team, and it takes all of these partners and it takes all of you in order for us to be successful in District F and keep us on the map so that we remain forgotten no more. So special thanks to our District F Conference Planning Committee. And what we were unable to share is that conference really, it grew. That was not our plan to have a youth conference. In the wake of the murder of Houston native George Floyd, our kiddos at Alief ISD at Elsick and Hastings were unable to participate in the public demonstration of racial justice downtown. And so they created their own demonstration in their neighborhood. And so once I got word, I wanted to make sure a couple of things happened. One, that their message was not hijacked, because that was a fear with the public protests, is that people from outside of the area were going to hijack their story to their young people. And we all know that young people were the energy and the spirit of most movements in the United States of America. And then thirdly, I sit in a position of influence, and if I can use my position to support young people, I definitely will do that. So it was a wonderful partnership with, it went off without a hitch. I was completely surprised with the number of teachers, librarians, neighbors, kids, people all over who came to support these young people, which Alief ISD Police, Houston Police Department, we didn't even ask for the streets to be cleared. We were like, we're going to stay on the sidewalk, we're walking to the park, that's what we're doing. They cleared the streets. The kids were able to walk in the streets. They were empowered. And one of the charges I gave to them was, we can't just stay in the moment. We have to move through the whole movement of the work, which evolved to a pizza party with the HPD, so they can have some face-to-face conversation and understand public safety and recreate engagement on their own terms. Then it turned into just a conversation with police, with their peers, which later evolved to a entire youth conference where Congressman Julian Castro joined us, which was great, and a host of others. So definitely special shout out to them. Our future is bright and we are definitely in good hands. Shout out to our CHIP intern from University of Houston, Catherine Fasernado, and our Higher Houston Youth funded by the Mayor's Office of Workforce and Development, Tristan Love. So it's just appreciative of the support and the young people who are eager to volunteer and to intern in our office. Next slide. So let me say this, we get a lot of complaints, right? That's just the nature of the work that we do. Sometimes we get a lot of frustration, a lot of, upset people, especially when that trash is not picked up, right? But I think it's also to note the love notes is what I call them. All of the love notes that we receive from individuals who are appreciative of our effort and that they're paying attention. And I will tell you, 2020 has been hard. It's been hard because we're all experiencing this at the same rate and pace as everyone else. And it's difficult when, at least for me, I'm finding things out at a press conference or on the news just like you, and I'm expected to have a response to that immediately. Love notes like this really makes the difference, and we do a really good job of sharing with the team to let them know that they are appreciated, even when it's frustrating to work through sometimes some red tape bureaucracy. So I just want to personally acknowledge the individuals that have taken the time to shoot a text message, to say something nice on Facebook, something nice on Twitter, especially during these times. It goes a long way, and we see you, we appreciate you for seeing us and joining with us in this work. So thank you for the love notes. And I think this is Q&A. Yay!
No questions in the chat box.
What? Maybe we did a good job. We have no questions. Oh, I think BQ's hand went up. So I see. Go ahead, Barbara. Barbara, are you on mute?
Yes, Ms. Barbara, please come off of mute.
Come off of mute.
Press *6.
And I also want to acknowledge Councilmember Sally Alcorn and my Vice Chair David Robinson. They're on our call as well, your fellow council members.
Doing a great job, Chair. Well done.
Oh, thank you, Vice Chair. Thank you, friend.
Thank you, Councilmember Thomas. I know I'm joining late, but thanks so much.
No, it's all good. And just a reminder to those on the call, these are your council members as well, and we partner, and we I intend to make sure that they are plugged into the work that we're doing, so they can help advocate for those projects and priorities as well. Vice Chair Robinson, he and I serve the Housing Committee, and on the report you'll see the full throttle of the work that we've done together over this year. And Councilmember Sally Alcorn is a huge supporter of this community from day one, and has been out here and was with us at the groundbreaking. So so thank y'all for showing us some love tonight. So BQ, did you get off of mute?
I think, is that right now?
Go. We can hear you.
I'm old, it takes me a while. Tiffany, I want to know if the Parks Department has contacted you about getting that equipment into Harwin Park. I know I looked at what they had proposed, and they were supposed to meet with you, and then because they had the money, and it was a question of installation.
Right. So we did meet with the Parks Department, and so we are ready to go on that. You're talking about the 50/50 park program with the mayor, right?
Yes.
Our Pocket Park. Yeah, we're ready to go with that. They did a brief overview. It was about 7 slides or so. And in a follow-up, we can send our response with the slides, so you can kind of see the status of when that begins. But yeah, we are ready in queue for that.
Okay, great.
Mm-hmm.
Good, thanks.
Joe.
Hi, Tiffany.
Hey.
Hi, I just want to say, as a recipient of some of the services from District F this year. Our subdivision thanks you greatly. Y'all are doing an incredible job. I can't wait to see what happens next year.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Joe. Thank you much.
Tiffany, it's Doug.
Hey, Doug.
Sorry I was late, but it literally took me 45 minutes to get logged on. I started at 5:45 and finally made it at 6:30. So I missed a big portion of it, and I apologize. But the portion that I did hear, a thought occurred to me. We have great needs in this neighborhood, and with your position on the housing, as chairman of the housing committee, you have now a good connection with Baker Ripley. And the thought occurred to me, would it be possible for Baker Ripley to open one of their offices in our neighborhood? Because they have them all over the city, and from what I'm aware of, I don't think they have one in this neighborhood.
So I believe with Baker Ripley, they had on Cook Road, there's a Head Start a center on Cook Road by Crown Colony West.
Okay.
And so it is not the same footprint when they were formerly known as neighborhood centers. They had a small reach. And so currently, I don't know about their plans in terms of expansion, but the agencies that we have, such as WHAM, West Houston's Assistance Ministry, and the other ones in the area, we've been working with them around rent relief, making sure that they were in line for CARES funding to actually respond to that, because they serve directly the zip codes within our district. And so it's a conversation definitely to have, and that's from our district. That was really some of the criticism in terms of, well, how do I get to Baker Ripley? Because we don't have that in our area, right? Particularly with families who are transit limited. They work certain hours and the availability. So, and they don't have the technology in order to facilitate. So that's definitely a conversation that we can, probe with them about their plans to expand in our area.
Good. I think it'd be a good idea, because they do healthcare related things also, don't they?
Absolutely. Right.
Yeah.
And we don't, we don't have like a San Jose clinic, right? We don't have, that. We do have Hope Clinic, which is a strong and long-term partner of ours, but we know that health needs are, ongoing. And the more access to providers that we have on a scalable or at a minimum cost really benefits our community.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Ms. Barber has another question.
Go ahead.
It's not a question, Tiffany, but I just wanted to say what a difference it's made to me personally and to my neighborhood to have a council member that actually responds, lives here and knows the people, and I have to long knows I have him on speed dial, and of those 19,000 calls, I've probably had I don't know 14,000. But I just want to echo what Joe said. It really makes a difference to have public servants that are indeed public servants, and I personally appreciate, and I know my neighborhood does as well. So thank you all to all of you and your team, and you personally, Tiffany. I think you're doing just a really terrific job.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. I'll let my daddy know.
And Councilmember Thomas, just as a final note, this is definitely a love note to you from the staff. On behalf of me, Nashawn, Edie, as well as Long, we just want to thank you for one, running and winning, but also giving us an opportunity to serve. Your leadership is definitely unmatched, and I think it is something that everyone on our team has not experienced before. So we appreciate you. We appreciate you investing in us and allowing us to grow our skill set as we continue to serve the community and the district and the city as a whole. So thank you so much for your leadership.
No, thank you. I am a hurricane, so I appreciate y'all wading the water with me. I appreciate that. Thank y'all. Yeah. Go ahead, BQ.
I think her hand's still up from
there. Oh, her hand was still up? Okay.
So with that, we have no more questions in the chat box or any hands raised. Yes, we did good. We did good. So council member, it's back to you. Oh, wait. Callie says, wait. Callie has something to say.
Callie, we're waiting for you.
Lawrence Edwards has something to say as well.
Right.
Is Callie going to speak?
No, I think she's going to type in the chat box, so you can go ahead, Mr. Edwards.
Okay. Council Member Thomas, I'd like to echo the accolades. It's been really inspiring. I'm really excited. I have a confession. I'm not really in District F. I'm kind of left out.
Oh yeah, you're on the county side.
I'm on the county side, but I'm probably gonna work with redistricting and see if I can get at least a line drawn around my house to get me included. But anyway, I have a question for you concerning the possibility of establishing a sister community relationship between Alief and a community in South Africa called Langa. I had the good pleasure of visiting there, and I thought it would be an interesting project if we could establish a sister relationship for the benefit of cross-cultural exchange between students in Langa and in Alief. One of the things that I would like to see focus on, and I've talked with the people in Langa, and I talked with a couple of local artists, but is a art exchange between our communities. And I know there are sister city relationships, but I'm not certain if there are sister community relationships. But I'd like to follow up.
Very good question, and I can follow up. You know, those are typically initiated from the mayor's office and for our international trade and economic development and tourism. I think it's you know, it makes sense, and I know the Alief Super Neighborhood and Barbara Quattro, they've mentioned the high interest in having you know, Alief become this like arts, cultural, you know, how do we highlight and support the different ethnic communities through art? And I don't think that's an idea that should be left off the table. And so, you know, if you can provide some information that I can share with the administration and his international trade team, I believe that they'll be more than willing to have a conversation with you about what that looks like.
Thank you very much.
For sure.
Miss Callie would like speed bumps in Tanglewild. That is her comment.
But your speed bumps have been approved. So y'all are ready to, y'all should be ready to go. So what we're waiting on from Public Works is the notice to proceed. But y'all are queued up, funded, money's ready to go. So they'll be coming soon.
Yes. And now we'll hear from Diddy.
Hey, Diddy.
Hi, everybody. I just wanted to just give a special kudos to District F. I see what you all are doing. I try my best to attend the events and things like that as I can with my schedule. I represent Commissioner Rodney Ellis in Precinct 1. And so I'm just looking forward to more partnership as well in 2021. Special kudos to your Chief of Staff, Sherelle, always doing a great job, as well as Long and the rest of the team as well. So continue to do that. As an alum from Alief School, I'm especially proud. And also as a person who has lived in Alief most of her life as well. I love the fact that your team is revitalizing Alief, right, and bringing and things like that to that neighborhood. So kudos to you guys.
I appreciate that. Thank you for joining us. Thank you.
And we have Miss Natasha Butler.
Okay.
Well, Councilwoman Thomas, I know that I am not a resident of District F, but I am a resident of District J. But I wanted to tell you that on behalf of all the students that I know in District F and their families, they are very thankful that they have representation and communication and constituent services that are really doing their part. And I'm giving out and feeding our community PPE for them. And then, you know, of course, for our Alief ISD staff. But our students were so excited that you put on that District youth-led conference. I get asked regularly, when are we going to do it as a school district? So I just wanted to say you inspired them, and they are inspiring us. So thank you. I know you may not hear that often, but keep up the great work, and we really do appreciate you.
I thank you very much. And I think the youth conference definitely needs to be a collaboration between the city and the ISD. And we're really unique, right? So before Alief was annexed, we were our own community. And so we had our own school district, our own post office, all of that. And so in some regards, we still operate as our own city in a sense. And most people from Alief will say, they'll say, where are you from? Like if you meet someone from Houston, they'll say, I'm from Alief. They don't even say Houston, they just say Alief. And so as a, from a district's perspective, we definitely can do that and make that something unique for the area. We also, include a portion of HISD on the east side of the district. And we've established a really good relationship with Holly Velaseca, the trustee out there. And they had an agenda review for HISD tonight because she was going to join us. But we were able to partner with her on a dime's notice to get Piney Point location for PPE. So it's really been, the trustees in the area, working with our office, feeling comfortable to work with our office in order to facilitate access points, because in many cases, schools is an access point for many families, right? If we can get to the schools, we can get to everyone. So I just appreciate the consistent support from Alief and HISD. So thank you for joining us tonight. Any other questions?
That is it, Councilmember Thomas.
What? Little over an hour, we did good. So as I mentioned earlier, the video, our full report will be in our newsletter and on our council website tomorrow. So definitely, take your time, get you some coffee tomorrow morning and review it and preview it. And if anything comes to mind as you read that document, particularly around 21, right, as we get ready in 2021, calendar year, definitely keep that on our horizon. Some of the things that that's on my radar to start looking at for 2021 is making sure that we have clear and dredged drains, extra street lighting in areas that have not had street lighting for a very long time, and replacing old stop signs, street signs, and just really, cleaning up and brightening up our area. One small wish I would love, since we have our Tanglewild people on, I would love for Tanglewild to have some type of community group, or, in addition to their super neighborhood. So that's a plug for y'all that are on this call, that y'all can organize and get us some type of civic club or something like that. So it's another way for us to communicate with the residents out there. And without that, sometimes there's a challenge. And so we're doing our very best to communicate with Westmont and with the Tanglewild residents through Nextdoor and our newsletters. But please share this information with your neighbors. Let them know that we are eager to work with them and that they can reach out to us directly. So on this slide, it's our contact. I check my email, so you can email me directly, follow on social media, all of that. And if anything comes to your mind, definitely let us know, and we'll see where we can make sure it lands.
Good night.
Thank you everyone for attending.
All right,
Have a good night.
From Doug. So that's good night, y'all. That's what that means. All right, this will be recorded, and this is recorded, and it'll be posted on the website as well. So if you came in at a certain time, feel free to watch it later. Bye. Good night.
Bye-bye.